Random.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Brooke Lippman.
And I'm Dr. Deb Lippman.
And this is Wine Together,
a podcast where we drink some wine and have a chat.
So sit back, relax, and get that corkscrew ready. Anyway, cheers.
Cheers, Brooke. So, that was a nice cling.
It was. That was
very
really
nice. It's my duty, I guess, to talk about the wine we're choosing. I'm not a big fan, normally, of California wines. Y'all know I'm an Italian snob and a French snob when it comes to red wines. But we did choose this one. I don't remember. Did we choose it because it was California wine?
No, I chose it because it was called Fox Hollow, and I thought that was really cool.
Okay, and there is a Fox Hollow Vineyards in New Jersey, but this one is not from Fox Hollow Vineyards. This one's from the Bronco Wine Company in California, and this is, read the website. They have such a cool story, so I guess everybody's going to put their best foot forward, right? When they tell the story of either their company or, their product, whatever. This one does not disappoint. It's two brothers and a cousin or an uncle, something like that. Anyway, three relatives. Their family had a wine business when they were young. And before they were old enough to kind of take over, the business was sold. Okay. So the name was sold. And so they couldn't open a vineyard with their own name. Okay. So they have Bronco Wine Company is what they opened up. I think it was 1974. And one of them is a Marine. Okay. So, of course, I was like, okay, yeah, we're definitely going to drink this wine. I want to say thank you, Joseph Franzia, for your service. And hoorah, we've got a Marine in our family, too. So we definitely want to at least try this one. I hope I'm really going to like it because I haven't even tasted it yet.
That's pretty good.
It is good? Yeah. Okay, so it's a nice red. And honestly, when I swirl, I do see some sugars kind of on my glass, so it's probably going to be a little sweet. And that's okay. Yeah. But I haven't smelled it yet. Okay. It smells good. I smell blueberries. Okay. It's supposed to be a dark fruit, so blueberries, blackberries, plums. So it's what you're supposed to get a waft of, maybe a little vanilla. But anyway, I love their story because they support higher education. They have a lot of schools that they support, and they really are encouraging, more knowledge about entrepreneurism and, how to focus on a vineyard, and so I think that's great. But they also support Toys for Tots, which is the Marine Corps thing at Christmas where they give the toys away, and I absolutely love that organization. And there were several other organizations that I read about that. I really had it in my head, but now of course I've forgotten. Age, and plus I want to drink this wine, so I can tell you how much I like it. So here it goes. I'll buy this one. Okay. I like this. And so I want to say cheers to the Franzia family because I like it. And we'll buy it again. And, hey, if we ever did get to the vineyard, we'd love to come say hello. So we'll definitely hashtag you on these show notes because, that's really good. I think we'll finish this before the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll definitely. In fact, I might have 2 glasses while we're talking.
Okay.
It's just funny because speaking of, I am feeling better.
That's good.
Wow, I mean, yesterday, I felt better. I know, and now you're not well, right? So, but yesterday and today I feel a little bit better. I took a little break from exercise today, so your dad told me to take a day off because my bike's messed up, so I couldn't go ride. But he said it's time to take a day off anyway. So, but I feel better. I think that I can handle the grocery store when we go later.
That's good.
And it's so funny because Friday when we went out, I was a mess. We walked less than a kilometer. Of course, it was up a pretty big hill to get into town. But we sat down at the restaurant and we ate and ate and ate because they kept bringing food and we did not say no. It was so funny because at the end, the dessert was supposed to be part of the meal package. And she said, "Are you going to eat the dessert?" And I was like, "I'm going to try." So I said, "Please bring 2 spoons," because I knew I wouldn't be able to. But wow, that was really a good dessert because it was like
pineapple sorbet.
Pineapple sorbet. Yeah, that's what it was. It was so good. But it was funny because she was talking to us, and she's waited on us before.
Yeah,
we've only eaten there twice, and we've had the same server, which is fantastic because we really like her. A lot. And so she speaks several languages. She's from Italy, and
I think she's saying her family is Italian. I don't think she's
from
Italy.
She's
from Italy. She said she was a local.
She lives local now, but she's from Italy.
Okay, no.
And so, which was funny because there's another restaurant we've eaten in that town. That another server we've had. She also said she was from Italy, but she wasn't. Her language skills were not quite as impressive as the girl at this restaurant. And so she was saying that. She finally asked, where we're from. And we swore we weren't going to tell the truth after. We were going to start saying we're from Canada, but we didn't. We told the truth. And she said, "Oh, I just met a couple from here last week that were from South Dakota." So we thought, "Oh, wow, that's really cool," And so I recalled my visit, my kind of scoop through South Dakota a few years ago. We stayed, that was a camping night, and so we pitched our tent, and we asked the kid at the campsite, we were in South Dakota, so we thought, oh well, we haven't eaten steak in years, and I thought, okay, well, I think I could handle a steak, right? I told you, I said, yeah, we're in South Dakota, we have to eat a steak, right? So the guy told us we wanted to go to, I think it was called Misha's.
Okay.
I think it was the name of the restaurant. We found the restaurant. We pitched the tent. We found the restaurant. We went there. We ordered a bottle of wine and, got the normal fare of an American steakhouse. So they brought this salad and all this bread. And, of course, I was full by the time the salad was finished because they always bring this huge salad. And I was full last week with the salad. I didn't even, so it is so weird because that's a European restaurant. I'm not used to having the big salad ahead of time, but it was almost weird that way. So we sat down and then, I'm pretty sure your dad, he may have ordered a different steak than me. I'm not sure what he did, but normally he doesn't order the red meat. He'll order like a chicken or pork chop or something like that.
Pork chop is still red meat.
I know, but it's okay. But he will not order. He normally does not order steak, but for some reason I'm thinking that he did that night. But anyway, we ate, and then where this restaurant was located. So we were in. Oh, what was the name of that town in South Dakota? I know if anybody happens to hear this, they're going to say, "Oh, it's in blah blah blah."
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to look this up.
Okay.
But anyway, we were in this town, and there was there's new revitalization of the downtown area. All these art projects and art structures brought up, and you're supposed to walk down to. Is it Sioux Falls? I think it's in Sioux Falls.
Okay.
Because you walk down to the falls through this little, and they've got these, the bridges have these beautiful purple and pink lights on them. I mean, and you can tell it's all new. And I think they were supposed to have this big unveiling in the late spring or summer of 2020. And of course, they had to put it off because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So they had this unveiling of the revitalized downtown area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sioux Falls. That's where it was. And so we walked down to the falls.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, of course there's railroads. Of course, that's why we walked there, right? Because your dad loves trains. And so we walked down there and we're walking on around. And, this was kind of like a late lunch, early dinner that we had eaten. Because when we were traveling across the country, we really would eat breakfast at wherever we camped.
Yeah.
And then we'd have maybe one meal.
Okay.
During the day.
Yeah.
And it was, a lot of times we would stop and cook with the camp stuff, or we'd wait till we got to our site where we were camping and we would cook there. But every once in a while we would go out to a restaurant. And in Sioux Falls, because it was South Dakota, I wanted to go to a restaurant.
Yeah.
Because I thought, I'm in the U.S. and I haven't had a steak in years and I want a steak.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did. That was our plan. And then we walked through this town and it was stunning. Honestly, could not believe it. I was thinking to myself, you know what? University of South Dakota offers me a job, I'm moving. I would move to South Dakota because of how beautiful that area was. But I know I would stand out because of my views. Yeah. And I would probably, be beheaded or something. But but I loved that area. And, we didn't run into a lot of people that actually spoke to us. But no one was, mean to us. And we really enjoy, I'm sure your dad did too. Anytime I'm having a good time, he feels like that's success for him. Yeah. And so we did have a very good time in Sioux Falls. And then it was so funny because when I posted about it, at the end of the day, a friend of mine, she's an author, and she sends me a reply to my post, and she says, oh my, the OMG. Yeah. I love Sioux Falls. We used to love to eat at Misha's. And I was like, that's where we ate at, and it was so funny. So it was a good reply back and forth, little thread that we had going about. And it was kind of funny because she really kept up with, the trip through our social media posts. And it was kind of funny that I thought, well, that's just weird that, the place that she would have eaten or she would have suggested is actually where we ate that night, or that afternoon. But it was fun. It was just absolutely stunning. It was a beautiful, beautiful downtown area. And I can't say enough about the places we visited on that cross country trip. I would do it again 100 times. Yeah. Okay. I would love to do it with all my kids because of.
I don't think that would go as well as you think it would.
Please tell me more.
I don't think we could get through that.
You tell me the whole thing. Why not?
If we were all cramped together, we'd have to get a really big camper, but I still think all of us cramped together would not turn out very well. We'd have to get like 2 or 3 campers. Honestly, I guess it would be 3 people.
That's a lot of fuel to pay for.
Exactly.
So that ain't happening.
Exactly.
Y'all gonna have to just get over it and be on your best behavior for your mama. Yeah. I do. It's so funny because when I think of things like that, I do have visions of sugar plums and fairies dancing around. And it's just the greatest, that I just have the greatest kids in the world. And I have the greatest marriage in the world. And I have just this wonderful life that you could write, romantic novels about and wonderful Christmas stories about. And then you give me the reality. But I will say, and I'm not going to change my viewpoint. It's always going to be sugar plums and dancing fairies
that's
for
fine.
me.
But you also know what it was like to ride in the car 5 hours to Virginia Beach with all of us. So
look, I was probably drinking most of that time. So I have good. No. Yes, and it's funny because I was in the back with you guys most of the time. Mason rides up front most of the time because Mason's good at keeping Dad awake while driving. They have conversation. I have no idea what they talk about, but that is kind of the role.
We used to, before Mason would sit up front, we would have the laptop in the middle and we'd all watch.
That's
Over
true.
the Hedge was the big one that we watched, I think, multiple times on the car rides. But we one time watched The Dark Knight Rises. I think maybe we had a couple James Bond movies we would watch. I don't really remember any of them, but but that was like a really long time ago when I was like really little. I think I was still in the booster seat then.
Well, you
Which
were in
took
the
I
booster
was
seat
until I was
till
12.
middle school.
Yeah.
So you were still in middle school and in a booster because you were so tiny. So that doesn't count. But yes, we. So see, it's probably as good as I imagined, and not nearly as bad as you imagined.
Maybe. I don't remember the trips to Florida though. Like when we drove, I think I just ignored everyone then because that I can't imagine that was fun.
Well, the first time you were only 6.
Yeah.
And that was my first time also. So I was 42.
Yeah.
My first time going to Disney, when we talked about this, I was 42 years old, and I'm telling you, the magic was there for me.
I know. Well, Ren and I want to go to Disney together sometime.
I think you would have an
Just the
absolute
two of
blast.
us, yeah.
I think that would be an absolute blast.
Yeah.
So I hope that I'm going to encourage that.
Okay.
I'm going to hope that y'all do that. Yeah, I think, I know y'all might think it would be bad, but not me. To me, it's just, I'm just going to cry thinking about it. I love having everybody together.
Yeah.
So, I want to always think of it as good. So, to be on you. It's always going to be good to me.
Okay.
And and that's what I kind of have to think about everything, because a lot of things that we do, especially when we live as long as I've been living, you're going to spend a lot of time with, kind of the same people. And yes, there have been times that I thought, I could just walk away from this life. Maybe it's not worth my mental health going to the toilet. But the truth is, I've had so many more good days than bad days that I got to look at it in the big picture kind of thing. There's just, I would say, 90% has been good.
Okay.
And that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's actually an A. And honestly, we might get up to 92 one day, and that's A+ almost. So
I thought 92 was A-.
Well, it might be.
96 and above is A+.
Okay, well, I don't know that we'll get A+, but we might one day. But yeah, I think there's just so much more good than bad. But anyway, talking about people from America coming to Switzerland, we went to the market yesterday. Okay, so we have this market in our area that once a month there's a Monday market, and there are I don't know 4 times as many stalls as the weekly market, because our weekly market is usually just the farmers and somebody selling homemade soaps, candles, blah blah blah. Not a lot of the the clothes and the jewelry like what we see on the Monday market. Pretty. Some of that, it was just stunning.
I wanted that one ring that was really pretty.
Which one?
The one, the princess
band of
crown.
Diamonds.
Well, that, but also like the princess crown one.
Oh yeah,
was
the
really
crown.
pretty.
I thought that was just, I'd never seen one like that. Was so cute. So anyway, we're sitting there trying these free pieces of caramel. Oh my goodness. It was just, yes, it was a block of sugar.
Bag of caramel was like 18 francs. So there was
a small bag of caramels. Like it wouldn't even fit. It would easily
I thought it was
fit
bigger
inside
than
of
this, but maybe I'm wrong.
18 francs. We were like,
but it's
no thanks. We'll just take the fruit ones. So anyway, there were this group of ladies. I think 3 or 4 of them, trying all of them. And one lady was telling them what it said. She said, "Oh yeah, this for beer, and that means you can try it." And so the one of them does speak German.
Yeah.
And so she spoke back and forth with the merchant that we were there, and we were just kind of listening in. Anyway, he asked where they're from.
Yeah.
And they said Colorado, and he's,
he goes skiing in Aspen.
Not only that, but he was in Utah, and he hikes in Utah, but skis in Colorado. This is the merchant, the Swiss merchant, who looked like he was older than me.
Why wouldn't you just stay here?
I was just, and that's what they said. Not here. He said, "Oh no, I like to ski here." He said he likes to ski in Switzerland, but the snow is so different in the U.S. than in Switzerland. It's so much harder in the U.S., right? He said it was harder. And then they were like, harder? And he said, yeah. And then he just automatically gets into his German because he's, instead of speaking full English to him, he gets in his German rant about the hard snow in Colorado. It's just so funny. He talks about how the snow is this hook and it's really hard. And anyway, it was funny. But he enjoys that skiing because it's faster. So, and it was just so funny to sit and listen to them. No, we did not bother to interrupt and say,
Yeah.
"Hey, we're from the USA." No, we don't do that. So, but it was fun. It was just, so, you know, I sometimes when I'm on the train, especially when I see people with lots of luggage, I always wonder, I wonder where they're from. And
Yeah.
yes, 9 out of 10 times I automatically think they're from the U.S.
Yeah.
And I think that's because that's my experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I just don't know. I don't know how many people travel from the United States to Switzerland every year.
I don't know.
But I don't think it's reciprocal. I don't think as many Swiss travel to the U.S. as U.S. travel into Switzerland. So, but it was funny, and it was enjoyable for a moment. But let's just talk more about the Monday market.
Okay.
There's so much there.
Yeah.
And so, of course, I want to talk about your favorite part of it.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
We started at that end this time.
Yeah.
A lot of times we'll start at the other end and work our way up through town and kind of end at the bus stop.
Mm-hmm.
But this time we took the bus all the way up to that farther end and came in at the gate where they have the Überraschung packet, which is surprise packages. Mm-hmm. And so they're 3 francs each.
Yeah.
One time she had some for 2 francs and maybe some for $1, but they must have been much older. And so, anyway, you get 3 yesterday.
Yeah.
Tell me what you got in your... Oh, okay. I see one right now.
Yeah, I got this necklace. And, oh, God, it's stuck on
It looks so good on you.
Yeah, it's really hard to see in the video, but it's just a little necklace that doesn't really... It has, like, little rocks on it. Mm-hmm. And then I got the little coin purse.
Which was adorable. It's a Minnie Mouse.
Well, no, it's just pink with white polka dots.
I thought it was red with white polka dots. That's the reason I thought Minnie Mouse. Okay.
But anyway, and then I got the little slug thing that you squeeze and its eyes pop out. It's like in the Shark Boy and Lava Girl. It kind of looks like the thing with the eyes and the mechanical mouth, except it doesn't have a big mouth, but that's what the eyes look like.
That's funny.
I have that vividly. Oh, now I want to watch Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
There you go. Oh well.
Good movie. I haven't seen the sequel yet.
Okay.
That came out a while ago on Netflix, but
I haven't. I don't even think I've seen the first one. So
there's no way you have not. There's no way you grew up with us kids, or like you had us kids and have not seen Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
I may have walked
We
in
have
on it.
all watched it like 20,000 times. It's such an amazing movie.
But you know me, I never... Okay, here's the times I would sit for entire movies. Mm-hmm. Christmas. Mm-hmm. New Year's Eve.
Okay.
New Year's Day.
Okay.
And those are the only times I recall me being able to sit with you guys and watch a whole movie.
Okay.
Because I just couldn't do it when y'all were little. When y'all were younger, I felt like there was always something to clean up, always something, always cooking, making drinks.
Well, we all watched the Hunger Games together that one time.
At the house?
Yeah.
That must have been a Christmas or a New Year's Eve or something.
Probably not Christmas, but...
I remember New Year's Day one year, we did the trilogy of the Hobbit series.
I don't remember that.
Is it Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
That trilogy. I remember us watching that, and we started right after...
we used to watch James
breakfast
Bond.
And watch. Yeah, we would watch James Bond movies.
At the beach. That's what we'd always do, is watch James Bond.
You're right, James Bond movies.
I don't remember any of the movies. I don't even know which James Bond it was. But I remember, I know one of them. Yeah,
I was...
One of them was No Time to Die, right? Like, that was one of the...
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, and so... Yeah, we started at the beginning of those with you guys.
Okay, I don't
even think we got to the first Pierce Brosnan, and then we haven't, and then we skipped a few because Mason was so into Daniel Craig.
Okay.
Which, my goodness gracious, who wouldn't be, right? And when he took the Queen to the Olympics on that boat, I mean, I know that was CGI, but that was so good. Yeah. I was like, oh, to be on that boat with the Queen. It was really good.
Yeah, I don't remember any of the James Bond movies.
Okay. Well, I don't know that you would enjoy them so much. I mean, and I'm a big critic of Hollywood and any industry that uses women to get male viewers. And I know y'all know what I'm talking about. Exposing their bodies in a way that attracts male viewers. Why do you think you think people aren't good enough just with their acting and with your writing to attract viewers? And evidently the answer to that is no.
Yeah.
So, which is, you know.
Well, back then the writing was actually terrible. So a lot of older movies, the writing is so bad. And like I'll go back and after having gone to musical theater school and like having to take acting classes, I'll watch these old movies and I'm like, wow, they are terrible actors because they have to overact like to do everything because that's kind of how the scene like makes you play it. And it's like, are they actually good actors? Because it doesn't seem like it.
I love Audrey Hepburn, don't get me wrong.
Okay, she's the worst.
I know
about this.
But listen, let me tell you what I read about her today. Okay, because y'all know I'm an avid reader. Y'all should know that by now. But of course, I wake up this morning and I'm reading, and I found this little historical site that I was reading about, and what I was reading about today, of course, was women who were significant in World War II. But, you don't learn about their significance.
Did you know that Hedy Lamarr... Sorry.
Yes, I know. We'll talk about her in just a second. But anyway, I came across, Audrey Hepburn's role in the war. And, of course, she was hiding in forests and hiding in places. So she didn't eat. She ate bugs and pieces of bark and stuff just to... And yet she was a significant part of helping the Allies during World War II. She finally makes it to America. And what did Hollywood see? This skinny woman that was beautiful. And they were like, that's what we want in the movies. We want a skinny gal like that. And she was like that because she was starving. So to me, seeing that side of her life and then also seeing what Hollywood wanted from her pissed me off.
Yeah.
But, I can't control what other people
But Hedy Lamarr invented Bluetooth.
Absolutely, GPS. I mean, all of that technology absolutely came from a very intelligent woman that was really only known for how beautiful she looked on screen. She was not necessarily known for her intelligence. Yeah, and she was, and so I
mean, this is all old news. Everyone knows this.
I know. We know that you know that. So sorry, but it was just I thought to myself, it's the more I learn, the more upsetting it kind of is to me. But I can't help how people are. I can't help what. It's just like just like this whole thing about social media over the weekend. I try to be nice to people because I want people to listen to our podcast, and we're trying to grow this organically and not trying to. We really want to make this work. We don't want to. But, then that means you have to be nice to people. And then you were so funny because, of course it upset your dad to see that some man sending me this text message over social media. And he says something like, are you on WhatsApp? Yeah. And, of course, I would have said no. Yeah. But you turned to me and you told me anyway, no is a complete sentence.
Yeah, you also don't even have to answer. You just block.
Yeah, but see, then, you just run that chance of, because the only reason I'm on social media really is to promote this podcast. Yeah. And so when somebody says something to me, oh, hello, how are you? I say, hey, I'm great. We'd love for you to listen to our podcast. You can see it on YouTube, listen to it on Spotify. And what do they want? They want to keep talking to me. Well, that's, I'm just, look, I have a job here. Yeah. My job is not to be everybody's best friend, I'm not really good at friends. I'm just telling you, people, those who have sent me messages, you don't want me to be your friend. I'm not a good friend. I will forget you at the worst of times for you. Because honestly, my family is my number one priority. I mean, this is a number 2 priority for me. I'm sorry it's not number 1 priority.
That's okay.
But my family is number 1. My marriage and my kids is all number 1 for me. And so I'm just not going to put anything else in front of
Mm-hmm.
that. So I just think it's kind of weird. I'm weird how you have to be, and and men do really expect women to smile at them, and don't tell me what to do with my face.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me to smile.
There's this subreddit called r/traumatize them back.
Okay, teach me.
Okay, so I'm not a part of the subreddit, but I've heard a couple stories from it, and they're really, really funny. So, like, a lot I'm pretty sure one was, like, this woman was, like, really, or maybe she just had, like, a really crazy face, which I have a really, really good one. But
yeah, I could go into a trance, and that's what it looks like.
Like, it's like this.
Okay.
Yeah. But and so someone I think was like, "Oh, you should smile or something," and she goes, "My sister was just murdered last night," which wasn't true. But like seriously, if someone says that, like you have every right to answer that.
I will tell you why I don't do that. Because I am such a believer in karma. That I'm afraid if
it is karma going back to them.
Okay, but I'm saying if I say something like that, I feel like I'm speaking truth to some kind of universe person that's pushing all the buttons, and it's going to happen. Okay. So I won't do that to my sister. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. As much as I think like that, I won't do it because I'm so afraid of the possible repercussions that could come back and haunt me if I say something like that. But I will keep a spider in my purse. So I'm just warning you people, don't try to pickpocket me. Not a spider, a snake.
Yeah,
I keep a snake in there. I should get spiders. Now that I said okay. Spiders. So I keep a snake in my purse. I just want y'all to know that. And my husband gets very angry when I go out and the snake is in my purse. Because he's like, you could get in trouble for that. Excuse me? No, somebody unzipping the pocket of my backpack and reaching their hand in there thinking they're going to get my wallet? And I'm the one in trouble because I put a snake in there? I don't think so. But anyway, so I'm just warning you people, don't try to mess with my purse because there's a snake there. Then I will get spiders too now that I said it.
Yeah.
But yeah, to me, if you're the one doing something wrong, if I caused something, if it was not your business to start with, I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, you can get in trouble for some of those things, but
I don't see how.
I mean, if that is not a problem. If it were actually like a venomous snake in your bag, that
I didn't
might
tell
be
anybody
different.
that it was a rubber snake. Now you've already told
I didn't even! I said if it was a venomous snake. I did not say if it was a rubber snake. If it wasn't a rubber snake. Anyway. I chose my words very carefully and then you ruined it.
Okay. I love that top with those earrings, by the way. And that's so great with your new necklace.
I know.
They look like little pieces of caramel. I said that yesterday when you opened it. Like, the necklace looks like little pieces of caramel. So, but it looks really good. Mm-hmm. That's exciting. Yeah. I love a little surprise bag. That's what I love to go when we go to the Flying Tiger.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't know if y'all know this store, but anyway.
Oh, I'm sure. It's a worldwide store. I think most people know it.
Okay. Well,
to be fair, it's also a kid's store, but
I love going to the Flying Tiger. And a lot of times, will get their surprise bags. They have a $5 bag and a $10, or 5 franc bag and a 10 franc bag. For your birthday last year, you got one of each.
Yeah.
So, because we went to Basel. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness! That restaurant we ate at, it was at the Irish pub.
Yeah, the pub. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it was so good. And that lady, that girl, she spoke English, I think, as her first language.
Okay. Yeah.
And she was learning also. She was learning German, and then so we all had a little German class there. But she was fantastic as well. And, she was very busy because it really looked like it was just her on the tables. Yeah. And then one other person either, like in the kitchen or whatever. So they were kind of busy, but it was good. That was, what was that burger I had? It was like, was it Mexican burger?
No, you had like a,
what did I have?
Cordon bleu burger?
Did I have?
Or it was
maybe it was a cordon bleu burger.
It was like, no, chicken parm. That's what it was. It was a chicken parm.
Sandwich, yeah.
Yeah.
And you had the fish and chips.
Yes, I did.
With the mush peas that I love.
I don't like the mushed peas. I even tried them in London and I didn't like them that much.
I do love them, and so that's kind of. I think because some places will mush them up and then put honey in them, and that so that's good to me. But I know they don't look very good, but they were good. But I will say, at the restaurant Friday, the refried beans were fantastic.
Yeah,
I thought everything was really good. Which I'm gonna just. I had a tuna quesadilla. And in my head, I would never say tuna in a Mexican restaurant. But it was a Friday. A lot of people eat fish on Fridays. And so I did. It was on the menu. And so I just, chose the house menu. So they have 3 levels, like an inexpensive one, a middle price one, and a more expensive one. I had the middle price one, which was a tuna quesadilla. And I mean, I wouldn't order it again, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I probably wouldn't, order that.
I don't think it would be my first choice. I think at a Mexican restaurant, chicken's always going to be my first choice.
We were talking about this with the fish sticks.
Fish sticks was on that was the first menu.
Yeah.
So menu 1 was the fish sticks. My tuna quesadilla was the second menu, and I don't remember what it was.
But it was like fish and chips, kind of.
Yeah.
And I said, why would you order that at a Mexican restaurant?
Right.
Like, I get that fish sticks are probably a big thing, like, in Mexico because there's a lot of coast.
Yeah.
Right? And, like, fishing is a really big industry in Mexico. But still, like, there's so many things on the menu, like, between, like, tacos and quesadillas and enchiladas and, like, all the things that are, like, stereotypical Mexican foods that are the reason you go to a Mexican restaurant. Why would you get fish and chips? Why would you order that?
I do love fish tacos. So now you brought
okay, but that's different.
I know because it's very different.
The stereotypical different. Mexican restaurant has tacos, and they would have fish tacos. That's not ordering fish and chips. If you want fish and chips, go to a British pub.
Yes, which I do. I go to a British pub. I have a favorite British pub
British
here,
pub,
not far.
Irish pub, like that. Go get your fish and chips from there.
Gosh. We have a
for
favorite
cheaper,
Irish pub too, don't we? Wow. Oh yeah. So there's that's the beautiful thing about here. I mean, there are British pubs, there are Irish pubs, there's classical.
They should have Scottish
Swiss
pubs. I want to go to a Scottish pub. That'd be fun.
Well,
they would serve haggis and
go to Scotland.
The big.
Well, are you going to try it when we go to Scotland?
I would love to try haggis.
Really?
Yes, I know what it is, but I'm going to ignore that and I'm going to try it.
If at least right.
I ate like uncooked shark in Iceland. So
yes. But we also had that. What was the liquor?
Black Death.
Black Death.
Yeah.
You had that.
That was good. Yeah.
There you go. And I was gonna get a bottle, but my bag was so full.
That's why
flying back that I couldn't even fit a bottle of the Black Death.
That's why at the airport I just got the little tiny ones. I got like 6 of the tiny ones because it was really cheap to do that.
Yeah, and so it was funny but you and Mason had picked me up some Icelandic whiskey.
Yeah, at the airport we were like, let's go.
Mason and I drank it when he got back.
I had some of it. Yeah, I had some of it.
We finished it now, but you did get some. I did save some for you, but we had a little good time with that. So,
but if we go to Scotland, Iceland's not that far.
No, but I love my scotch. So
yeah, I know. Well, we have to go to your little plot of land that
I know.
When you bought
I have this little plot of land that I was given. I'm sure I share it with 1,000 other people, but. Or more. Yeah. But it's really cute. That's cute to have that little thing.
I would love to do
scotch.
Just a little UK trip. You know, like Scotland, Ireland, Wales, England.
Yeah.
We definitely have to
I would like to do that too. That's
I know you want to go to Wales.
I do want to go to Wales.
Because of Welcome to Wrexham.
I do.
Which technically, I mean, well, if we were in the U.S., we could watch the new episodes tomorrow. I think they come out tomorrow. But if we use the VPN, we can't watch anything. Because everything is set to here. Netflix, Disney Plus, like all of it's set to here, and we don't have.
And we've already kicked everybody off of our accounts now.
But
sorry, U.S. folks in our family.
Maybe we could watch it on Paramount Plus, because don't we have that, or no?
I do not know the answer to that.
Anyway, well, we can just wait till May 29th.
That's when it is here?
Yeah.
But tomorrow's the 13th?
14th.
14th. Today's the 3rd. Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm pretty sure that is
mention
what
that.
I saw was May 29th. But
Okay.
yes, that's what I saw on Disney Plus. So
Okay.
for here.
Well, yeah.
But if we wait till the 29th, we don't have to watch it with ads. Because there's no ads here on Disney Plus.
That's true. So
if we were to watch it like Hulu or FX, we would have to watch it with
I can
ads.
wait. I'm okay waiting.
Yeah. It's just 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. And
You in the meantime, you can watch Sunderland Till I Die.
I could watch Sunderland Till I Die.
I didn't know. I bothered you once about it yesterday.
But right now, okay, so I'm watching 2 other shows right now with your dad.
God. You always start a show after I tell you to
do.
watch it. You did the same thing with Schitt's Creek. It took me so long to be like, you gotta watch it.
I know.
And it ended up being
But
so
right now,
good.
I'm watching the morning show.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one other, we watched 2 things. Oh.
Jack Reacher, right? Isn't that-
Reacher.
Reacher. Yeah.
I am watching Reacher, and, you know, it's so funny because, is it Alan Rickman? What is his name, that actor's name?
Who?
Reacher. Is it Alan?
Alan Rickman played Snape in Harry Potter?
No, then I'm thinking of the wrong thing. Let me.
Alan Rickman died in 2016.
Yeah, not that guy. No. This dude. Find his name.
Alan Ritchson.
Okay, sorry, Alan. I got your name wrong. So I will have to. Ritchson.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big guy.
Uh-huh.
But he really. I know there's been jokes on the show, like in the past, about they picking him about the way he runs. But in this season, his running gait has really improved, and he runs well.
Yeah.
And I told your dad the other night, I said, his running gait for such a big guy is actually pretty good. So, you know, I was surprised that But anyway, he's his character. So I know nothing about the actor, but I know his character in this show is such a kind person. But yeah, he does kill a lot of people with his bare hands. So I mean, I know people will say, "Well, that's not nice." No, it's not nice, and honestly, probably not justifiable. But he always kind of looks out for the least of us, and takes care of those who are hurt by the system or hurt by people and things like that. So I like the character. I like the character of Reacher. Okay. I know a lot of people watch that show, especially a lot of women watch that show because of him. But is a good show, and it to me it has gotten better over the seasons. So yeah. Have you seen all of House? I have not. Okay, because it's on Netflix. I'm rewatching it on and off now, and I'm up to season 7. I wish I could remember where I left off. You might as well just start from the beginning. Yeah, I could start from the beginning. There's so many shows though. That's so many series episodes. I know there's 8 seasons, and the episodes are long. Like 20 long seasons. Yeah, 20 some episodes per season. Yeah, so that would take you a while because you'd have to watch that by yourself probably. Yes, it'll be one of those things where when I have a few days that I'm not working too hard, that I'll sit and watch TV. But you have to watch it because oh my God, the guy that plays Wilson. That actor, he's such a good actor. Yeah. What was it, Thompson? No. Oh my gosh, he was also in oh my gosh, Dead Poet Society. Yes, he was. James. No, that's his character name, James Wilson. James Wilson is Robert Sean Leonard. Yeah. Okay. He's a very good actor, I think. I think he's really good at Wilson just because Wilson is such a complex character. He is, and I will say, when I was watching that character development and getting to know that character when I was first watching it, because like I said, I don't even think I got to season 5. It's one I was trying to get to, and then I assume I stopped watching it when we moved here.
Maybe.
before we moved here.
Well, this
and so
show is really old.
Yes,
so.
it is. But that particular character, I definitely connected with him in that I have often felt like, yes, I care about people. And look, if I know I said I'm not a good friend, and I'm not. But if I am your friend, I can promise you I will do what I can.
Yeah.
To
well,
help
I mean,
anytime.
to be fair, he has to put up with House, and House is like the most destructive person, and immediately destroys any kind of like friendship or relationship that Wilson has. If it's nothing to do with
he intentionally places himself in a position of power in any relationship, any dynamic, and then to me, when I see that in real life, I mean, obviously, I'm trying to analyze this character when I really just don't have, that's not my education. So, but anytime we see that in real life, anytime I'm working with students, that there's a power struggle. When the one in power uses that to bully, you really can see flinches of just low self-confidence in that person. And it's like you want to be angry at that person, but you feel sad for that person.
Yeah.
And that was always my relationship to House, to Gregory House.
Have you seen the episodes that Andre Braugher and Lin-Manuel Miranda are on?
Yes.
Okay.
I did get to that. I do remember having yes, and the character that Lin-Manuel Miranda
love LV.
He was his character was something on that. I just was like, okay.
Oh my gosh.
And it was so funny because I didn't see that because obviously I didn't start watching the show till long after the series had ended on normal television. And so I was watching it, on Netflix before we moved to Switzerland. And I had gotten to the one with Lin-Manuel Miranda, and I, of course, I already knew of him now as a playwright and musician. So to see him in that role before all this other stuff, because I think this was even before In the Heights. Am I correct?
In the Heights was 2008 or 2009, so I think it was a little bit after that.
Okay, so maybe it was in between In the Heights and Hamilton. But I didn't know the actor.
Yeah.
As an actor. And then when I saw him on the screen, and I'm sure I was home alone. I'm sure I screamed out like, "Oh my God, he's such a good actor." He really, I believed that person in that role. I was so into it.
Yeah. But I do love House. It's really good. Yeah.
So much I need to catch up on. I'm just so far behind. Boy, it's so funny. I do allow things like that to get in my head, and I feel paralyzed to move on with doing what I have to do, to be real in life. And I get paralyzed thinking I have a list like this.
Yeah.
And your brother has given me lists of movies to watch, I find those lists laying around, and I'm like, I did see that one. I did see that one.
It's gonna be the airplane in the background.
Yeah, it does sound like it's kind of flying kind of low.
Yeah,
I've noticed that recently. I've been sitting out there, and airplanes are flying lower, and I don't know what that's about.
Military drills, I think.
Yeah, which is kind of scary to think that Switzerland's, really amping up their military flight time. Because but it is what it is. Well, I definitely want to get to feeling much better so that I can get onto some day trips now that the spring weather is here. Yes. Because I want to get on the boat. I love the cruises around here, so I'm ready. And I know y'all see me dressed in a pullover. It was really cold this morning though when I woke up.
Yeah, it was cold and rainy. I just decided to wear short sleeves because I didn't think I was going to go outside.
So I haven't.
I was outside this morning, but I wore a tank top this morning outside, and it wasn't terrible.
Yeah, well.
But I always have to be a little bit cold before I start running because I get way too sweaty when I do run. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to wrap this up so that I don't have so many lists of things that I want to make sure I share with you of stuff we talked about. So we hope you've enjoyed the conversation.
We'll be back next week with a new bottle of wine and a new topic. If you want to join the conversation, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky at Wine Together Pod. Join our Facebook group, Wine Together Podcast. And if you don't want to miss out on our regular weekly episodes, along with all our bonus content, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts, as well as liking, subscribing, and commenting on our YouTube, Wine Together Podcast.